Lordy, Lordy. Hey, everybody. It is Kendell Lenice. That's my brother, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. And the show is more than just a movie where we break down classic Black films, TV, and the Black experience when it comes to what we're viewing. Leroy and I break the movies, the people, the places, the things down in a very unique way. We apply it to life and we have honest and real conversations. And Leroy came up with the idea. This is season 6, y'all. Yeah, let's just clap that up for a minute.
I know, right?
Right. And Leroy said, you know what? Coming back with season 6. Leroy, I don't know. Leroy been having some good ideas lately. I'm just saying. Leroy be having some good ideas. He said, let's focus on directors. So for the rest of February, we're focusing on directors. But Leroy, tell them what we do in March, which your suggestion that you came up with.
Yeah, and what I was thinking, I guess, and I'm thinking I don't know, and you tell me, I don't know if we have enough directors to do the full season 6. But for season 7, or just, kind of the next thing that we focus on, I was saying, well, hey, let's what is I said, let's with Don
talk about movies, books that turned into
books,
movies.
but yeah, books that turned into movies, absolutely. Because I did my evening conversation last night about Terry McMillan, and she
I
missed
that.
Yeah, it's up there from last night. From yesterday.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, but she's
Terry.
had several books.
Yep.
Of hers that have been made into movies. Carl Weber has a whole TV series created out of his book. So there's been these phenomenal authors, writers that have written, that movies have been based out of. I've always said that Hollywood missed out because there are plenty of Black authors, books that needed to be made into movies.
Yes. Yeah,
I don't know why.
The Pursuit of Happiness with that was a book with Will Smith.
Was that a book first? Yes. No, he did. Yeah, he did write. Yeah, he did write a book. Yeah, he did write. That was his book that he wrote about his life. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's so many, and we've done some Terry McMillan movies, but we're going. That's good. We're going to talk about the book and the differences. Because I can say, for example, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. That was one of the first times where the movie was better than the book.
Really? Okay. You thought
it was one or parallel, right? And then you have, hey, Basine, say hey to Basine. She on the TV. She watching us on the TV.
Oh, on the TV. Oh, we on the TV.
Take a picture of us, girl.
That is so cool. Hey, Basine, can you do a space? Are you able to take a picture of that? I'd love to have that to be able to put out. Watching us on the TV. On the big
take
TV.
A picture of us on the TV, babe. but then Disappearing Acts by Terry McMillan. That book. Let me tell you. So the movie was good. We know Wesley Snipes. When we were reading the book, we weren't envisioning Wesley Snipes, but I think Wesley Snipes was a producer and gave a little change. So he ended up being Franklin Swift.
Okay.
But the book, I've read the book several times. And then when the movie was coming out, I reread it. I me, I'll read the books more than once. Yeah, and the movie, of course, Sanaa Lathan. I never met a Sanaa Lathan movie that she sent it. It's cute. Yeah. Oh, that color is good, Basie.
Yeah, send it to me. Send it to me.
I will. I'll text it to you. But it's so funny because I look for Doctor. You ain't Doctor in my phone. I had you in my phone before you became a doctor, sir. I texted to you. But so that's what we're going to do, whether it's midway through season 6 or season 7. We're going to talk about the movies that were once a book that turned into one. I mean, we got to talk about Color Purple.
Yep, absolutely.
There's so many books out there.
Yeah,
Michael Basin's books turned into plays. Maybe we'll talk about some of
that too. Yeah, and there's several other like Omar Tyree. His book should have been made into a play.
But they were supposed to. Leroy, we are definitely twins separated at birth. It's all the time. We always say, because it's so much, you'll be finishing my sentences when it comes to that. But I was going to talk about that. Omar Tyree's Fly Girl. they had gotten
definitely.
But that was supposed to be a movie like 15 years ago. And
why is that not a movie? What are they waiting for?
It was in the making, so I don't know if the money wasn't right, the people weren't right, but I saw the casting because I follow Omar Tyree on Instagram, and I seen it, and I thought it was happening, and then nothing. I remember Jada Pinkett Smith years ago bought the rights to The Coldest Winter by Sister Souljah, and that was supposed to be a movie.
I haven't read that yet, but people have told me that book was one of the best books ever.
I have it. If you want to meet up one day, I'll let you borrow it. And that's saying a lot because I don't be letting people borrow my books because my books, people don't be giving them back.
I know, you know how it is.
Man, and you know, when I used to have the books on tape or the books on DVD, I've loaned those out. I ain't get them back, but I trust you, Leroy. I trust you because we going to, but I'll let you do The Coldest Winter and let me know what you think. But like I said, Jada bought the rights to that many years ago, so I'm not sure what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, why wouldn't she? She could definitely be the executive producer of it.
Well, she bought it, she owned it, so she would.
Yeah. So you get some folks together. You got the connections and everything like that. Make that happen, and shoot,
make it happen.
And that was one of this is one of the things that I'd hoped with Tyler Perry owning the studio, the Tyler Perry Studios, that he would begin to say, hey, you know what? Let's do something like this. Let's bring these books to life.
But then the integrity of the book might go away. And that's no diss to Tyler Perry. But what if he changes it around because
But that's what I'm saying. You've got to keep the integrity of it.
But sometimes
you got to keep the integrity of it. Just like, but that's what I'm saying. Just like with how Stella Got a Groove, with all of Terry McMillan's books, and she was there probably, I'm sure, to make sure that the integrity of the book stayed there.
And how Stella Got her groove back. Everybody thought Taye Diggs was really Jamaican because that was his first movie. Everybody thought he was Jamaican.
Yeah. But I've always thought that for years now because I'm an avid reader. I love good novelists. I love a good good books, and I was just like, man, this would make a great book. I got a buddy of mine. He's an author, and I'm like, dude, this needs to be on somebody's on Netflix or because now you can do Netflix. Paramount Plus, whatever, and all of those things, or the big screen. I'm like, because this is that word. It's that good to me.
Yeah.
The elements are there to make a great movie.
See, and I did a novel. A lot of people don't know, but I did a novel back in 2005. And when people were reading that, and I always wanted to make it into a play and possibly a movie. But the biggest compliments I've gotten when people had read that, it was like, I felt like first people were saying they could see me saying it, and they was like, what character is me? But they said that it was like watching Girlfriends, and that was a big compliment because that's my favorite show. So, but to have someone be able to turn a book into a movie and get those rights, and then have, some people like to read that may never read Waiting to Exhale. Right.
Correct.
But they've seen the movie. So to be able to reach two audiences in one, I think it's phenomenal because everybody's like, who would play this person? Who would play that person? So I think it's good. But today, for this episode, we are, and for most of season 6, we're in season 6, we're going to be talking about Black directors. This is more than just a movie, but the movies cannot be made without a director's vision. The role of a director is so important, as we spoke about it last week when we talked about Ryan Coogler, but it's the vision. So sometimes the writer is the director, and the writer knows the vision of the the director knows the vision of the writer, right? But if it's the same one, then they definitely drive that vision home because they wrote about it, or they read about it in the concept, so they know. So Ava DuVernay, a lot of people started knowing who Ava DuVernay was when Selma came out, Queen Sugar. But I remember, and a lot of people may not, and I don't even know if you've seen it, Leroy, and we're going to give her credentials in a minute, but how I discovered her, and she didn't have the name, it was just a woman director, was a movie called I Will Follow with Sally Richardson Whitfield, and it came out in 2010, and it's probably on Netflix, it's probably somewhere, and it's an independent movie, and it was so good. Omari Hardwick was in it, and Sally
What's
Richardson.
the name of it again?
I Will Follow.
Yeah, that's the with the young, is that the one with the young lady from Reasonable Doubt?
No.
Is she in? Cause she did a no. Yeah, cause she did a movie, and I think no, I don't. What's it's here? Cause but I see the one that you're talking about. Will Follow.
I Will Follow. Yes, that.
Yeah, but it's
simple. It's a simple movie. It was Ava DuVernay's first movie, and to come full circle, when years later she asked Sally Richardson Whitfield to direct Queen Sugar, that was full circle. But let's talk about Ava DuVernay. She is an American filmmaker, screenwriter, film and television producer. She is a recipient of the Primetime Emmy Award, 2 NAACP awards, a BAFTA Film Award, and a BAFTA TV Award, as well as a nominee of an Academy Award and a Golden Globe. In 2011, she founded an independent distribution company called Array. Her film debut is a movie I was just talking about, I Will Follow, which came out in 2010. DuVernay won the directing award in the U.S. dramatic competition at the 2012 Sundance Film Festival for her second feature, The Middle of Nowhere, become the first Black woman.
That's the one, Kendell, that I was thinking, Middle of Nowhere, because the guy from Selma that played Dr. King, he was in that, and Omari Hardwick, I believe, was in that too, because he was the one that he was her boyfriend that was locked up in jail.
Okay, yeah. She became the first Black woman to win the award for her work in Selma. Let me make sure. I'm
gonna have to watch that though. I'm gonna have to watch that. Will
for
Follow.
her work in
I'm not sure. We must have lost her, y'all. I think she popped off. She'll be right back. But there's so many movies. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about them. She actually has a movie. Ava DuVernay has a movie out now called Origin. But her what do they call they don't call them her resume. What do they call their, like, when actors and directors, their movie reel? They don't call them a real video. It's not videography, is it? Or is it filmography that they call them?
Yeah, filmography. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to plug my computer in. That's where I went. But I want to finish talking about this real quick. And thank you, Leroy. That's why you my co-host. I wanted to plug it in, so I took myself off. But for her work on Selma 2014, a biopic about Martin Luther King, of course, that was such a good movie. DuVernay became the first African-American woman to be nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Director. The first went on to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. Her and other film credits included 13. That came out in 2016 on Netflix. Wrinkle in Time, that was good, in 2018. The latter making her the first African-American woman to direct a film with a budget of $100 million. In 2013, she directed this, which Leroy was just talking about, the biographical film Origin, based off the book, since we were talking about books, cast the
Mm-hmm.
origins of discontent. And of course, we know we talked about Queen Sugar, which premiered in 2016 on OWN, was such a good show.
Yeah.
When They See Us, I still can't watch that. When They See
Really?
Us,
Yeah, that was
Central Park
deep.
9,
That was deep
I
too.
can't watch it.
Yeah.
Based off of 1989, the Central Park jogger case, and so on and so on and so on. And I don't know if you saw Colin in Black and White in 2021
Yes.
was based
Mm-hmm.
off of the teenage years of NFL, of
Yep.
course, player Colin Kaepernick. That was so good. And the list goes on and on and on. And although she is now in her 50s, she's just getting started. Like, she's still knocking them out the park. That's Ava DuVernay. All right, Leroy. So when you think about Ava DuVernay and her work, what is the movie you think that says, okay, I see you, Ava DuVernay? Like, what was that movie
Yeah.
when you were like, okay?
No, actually, I think to me her best movie was Selma. It's just something about that movie.
Selma was
All the
good.
other ones were great, deep. You know, I love 13, When They See Us. I mean, and it looks like she directed Girls Trip. They got that on the list because I see it here. I don't know if it's on your list.
I don't think she didn't direct
Really?
Girls Trip.
Yeah, they got it because they
No, she
got it
didn't
on this
direct
list here.
Girls Trip
Okay.
because
Oh,
that was
they got it on
what's his
this.
name?
Yeah, because they got it on this list that I'm looking at.
It's not on my
But
list.
yeah,
I don't know.
but for sure,
Maybe you
Selma
got the clip
is
notes.
yeah, I know something. Selma was definitely my favorite movie, but Queen Sugar, that that series, that whole series, I just love the storyline behind
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And her being that creative because it showed us in a light that we certainly were not used to seeing. A
Mm-hmm.
farmer, a farmer father who owned these acres and acres of land,
Mm-hmm.
and the family after he passes away having to fight to keep that land
Mm.
and be farmers, man. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like to come up with something like that was
Mm-hmm.
out of the norm, and to be
Mm-hmm.
and to have it as good as it was. To me, I love it. And
Mm-hmm.
even the creative way that she did Selma, because they were saying that she couldn't use certain speeches
Mm.
in the movie, so they had to rewrite. I think she was talking about it one time. There was, I think, the last speech that they show in Selma, it had to be rewritten because it was some kind of copyrights issue or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she wound up having to rewrite that speech for him. It's just a lot of stuff.
The one on
And
the Pettis Bridge.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's either on the Pettis Bridge. Yeah, yeah. I think it was the Pettis Bridge or the last one. It wasn't the "I Have a Dream" speech, and it might have been supposed to be the "I Have a Dream" speech, but she had to
Mm.
rewrite it. I'm not sure, but yeah, but each of them. But I think Selma kind of stood out to me. I
Selma
don't know
was
about
good.
you. It's
I haven't seen it in so long, and I can still say that movie was good. I remember the impact when I saw
yeah,
it. And I would, maybe I have to watch that again. It was definitely good. I remember when it came out, I was definitely watching that, and it wasn't just because Common was in it, it was about what was happening in Selma.
yeah, yeah.
But no, she had a star-studded cast in there, and they all did their thing. They did their thing so well in the movie Selma. You forgot that they weren't the real people.
Correct,
When you think
correct.
about all the historical Black figures in the
Hmm.
movie, and even, they showed even the people who weren't Black, the white people in the
Yeah,
movie, that played a huge part in the movement, you know.
right.
And I remember when you look up and you see the original ones, even the casting was well done,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, because the I can't think of his name, the one that played Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
Um,
there were Yellow. I can't pronounce his name,
yeah,
but yeah, he's. I know
David
he's.
Aiello or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. Thank you. Look, Basine said to all the listeners, please do LSS, like, save, and share. Thank you, girl. She a producer on the other side.
I know, right? Exactly. Appreciate that. Definitely.
That's my
But
biggest supporter ever in everything that I do. She just is, well, that's my girl. Is Joe there? Tell Joe I said hey, her husband. MT Jams be dropping a lot of movie nuggets. Yeah, girl. Yes. But when you think about Selma, right? And you think about deciding to make that movie and that film, Ava DuVernay seems very intentional about what story she's going to tell about us. Like, it ain't a whole lot of foolishness, shucking and jiving. You know what I mean? It's their rich stories of our history. And if it's not of our history, and if something that she created, like you said, with Queen Sugar, it still has that historic, honoring Black people kind of feel in everything that she does. And I can respect that. The stories that she wants to tell, because think about it, as a director, you can tell any story you want. But why not tell one that's meaningful and rich to us, right? When you think about that, if you guys haven't seen I Will Follow, even that, and that's her first movie, it was independent, you guys have to check that out so you can see her journey to Selma, to When They See Us, right? To the origins that everybody is talking about now. You'll get to see her evolution of growth in storytelling, because even in that movie, it was a simple movie. Like, I don't know what the budget was for that. I haven't looked that up, but it wasn't, you can tell it wasn't a whole lot of locations, no bar, stuff, no fireworks, no, tap dancing, no this. It was a very simple movie that pretty much was filmed in one house or one location. And the story was so powerful. And I enjoyed it a lot. I've seen that movie maybe 4 times. It's good. So if you haven't seen it, I know the last time I rewatched it, maybe it's been like a year ago, maybe 2. I think it might have been on Netflix. It's on something free.
Okay.
So it might even be on YouTube. So just check it out. I Will Follow, and let me know what you think. But I'm thinking about, and of course you saw When They See Us, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about it? Because I didn't see it purposely, and not because I don't want to watch her work. I just don't like stuff like that. It's too heavy for me.
It's probably one of that movie, When They See Us, in 13. Or
Yeah,
probably in addition, I mean, Selma is intense too, but there's When They See Us in 13 were like this. That's how thick it was. Because of we know When They See Us about those 5 young boys. We remember when that happened.
Yeah.
At least I know. I remember when. And were you in Jersey at that time? So you were kind of in that, around that area. So you all knew all about that story and those 5 young men. And what what the media tried to do, what Donald Trump tried to do, what everybody tried to do to these 5 young men that were innocent and didn't do anything that they were accused of, and to see their stories, and to see them turn out the way that they are now. Because I believe the one is a councilman up there now. I forgot his name, but he ran for, I think, city council up there, and is a city councilman up there, which is phenomenal. But even 13 and that 13th Amendment, man, and she's, like you said, her movies usually have substance to them. They're gonna have some kind of message behind him. There's no shucking and jiving. It wasn't that popcorn stuff. It wasn't that cotton candy stuff. Her movies are usually you're gonna come away with learning something from them.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling most of the time feeling a certain way. Even the movies like you said will follow. I haven't seen that one, but the other one, which I think is similar, which was the In the Middle of Nowhere. That was a deep story too, because it's about this young lady. She has a boyfriend. He gets arrested. He's in jail. She meets this another guy. Winds up
I remember that.
falling in love with him, and it becomes this dichotomy of whether she should, you know, stick it out with the man that's in jail and you know, and isn't have the possibility of getting out, or does she move on with her life and live her life with this other young man that she comes to, you know, to be involved with and everything like
I
that. And
remember that. I didn't see
yeah,
it. I remember
yeah,
that.
her movies and have depth to them. There's not too many
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
directors that we can
Yeah.
say they were intentional. Her and probably Spike Lee, you know.
Wow. And when I'm thinking about what you're saying about she had the one guy and then tried to see, yeah, Spike Lee is intentional too. But I'm
Yeah.
looking at and I'm thinking about I Will Follow, and it's
Hmm.
kind of not similar to that, but so I forgot. So Sally Richardson, Blair Underwood is in there briefly, Beverly Todd,
Okay.
Omari Hardwick, and Sally Richardson
Okay.
Whitfield. But and I was trying to see how much, and it was written by Ava DuVernay too, and produced by her also. But I was trying to see if I saw how much, because I saw how much it took to make The Middle of Nowhere, but it's not on here. So I Will Follow is
Hmm.
only 88 minutes. May is a
Oh
successful,
wow. Okay.
yeah, May is a successful artist. Remember, that was her first movie. May is a
Yeah.
successful artist who has taken a leave from work to care for her ill aunt, Amanda. As the film begins, May is moving out of the home she once shared with Amanda after her death and contemplating her relationships, her career, her past, and her future. So she's with Blair Underwood,
Hmm.
but when she goes to take care of her aunt, she meets somebody there, and it's Omari Hardwick.
Okay.
But the relationship was kind of ending with Blair Underwood's character, and he was just, you can see how he just wasn't right for her, and they were dealing with some things. And when she went to be with her aunt, she had the time, and then she meets Omari Hardwick, who fixes, I don't want to say who she meets him. You'll see how she meets him. And she's kind of in that middle, like like a crossroads. So, and then
Hmm.
you talked about Middle of Nowhere. It's different, but then she's trying to decide too. So she
Hmm.
has these movies that kind of make you think, and life unfolds, it seems
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
and it's layered. Because I see her movies as multi-layered.
Hmm. Hmm.
And how you're describing that, and I looked at the film jacket to that, and I was like, okay, I remember that movie, but I never seen all of Middle of Nowhere, so I have to
Hmm.
check that out.
Yeah, I that that young lady that's a reasonable doubt and is in there. That's whoo. I'm
Yes,
like,
let's see
I'm
if we
like,
can say her name again, because we know the last name is Corinaldi. That's her last name, and her first name was Amazing. What is it? It's
I'm not even sure to be honest with you.
Amay Amayazadi. It's Emayatzzy. And it's, I forgot, and I've heard her say it, but it's not what you think. And I don't like saying people's name wrong. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's an African name, I believe. I think
Hmm.
I heard her say. Don't quote
Hmm.
me on that. But then
Yeah.
David Aiello and Amari Hardwick, and then Lorraine Toussaint is in that movie too.
Okay. Okay.
In your
Okay.
movie,
Okay.
Middle
Okay.
of
Okay.
Nowhere. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are two
But
movies. If you haven't seen I Will Follow in the Middle of Nowhere, if you loved her bigger movies, these are the ones that
yeah.
won Sundance, that were entered into film festivals. Check those out. because that so you can see her evolution.
Yeah, and I like that we did these two directors first because, like you talked about, we talked about the evolution of Ryan Coogler last week, and then we were talking about the evolution of Ava DuVernay this week,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see how these directors,
Mm-hmm.
these young Black directors have grown and how their work has grown
Mm-hmm.
as they've matured,
Yeah.
as they've begun to tell their stories, and we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have other directors that we cover that that we want to highlight and that we think that will kind of chronicle their just their writings and everything like that. One of them that I think is definitely got to be on the list is Robert Townsend. We
Oh,
got to include
100%. That's next week. We're doing Robert
yeah.
Townsend next week.
Yeah,
Let's
we've got to include him because I
come
think
on now. Next week,
he
Robert
is
Townsend.
definitely unsung and has not to me gotten the um the accolades that he deserves for being a writer director in
Yes,
Hollywood and the things that
facts.
he's done and
And
stuff
putting
like
people
this.
on. A
Yeah,
lot of people
exactly,
that we know, Robert
exactly.
Townsend and put them on. Robert
Yeah,
Townsend was using credit cards and doing all of that.
yep,
You talking about Spike. We always talk about Spike Lee, and we
right.
love Spike Lee. We've talked about Spike Lee a
Yeah,
lot on this show. But Robert Townsend for sure. If Robert Townsend did no movie but Five Heartbeats, he would still be talked about on this show.
exactly.
That's
And
how powerful the Five Heartbeats was. That's how classic it was. But of course, he's done so much more. But that movie alone would get him a seat right here on More Than Just a Movie.
yeah,
Um,
and and he
no,
did
go ahead.
a lot of his writing. He co-wrote with Keenan Ivory Wayans.
They
I
did
think
Five
yeah,
Heartbeats.
yeah,
And
they did
Five
Five Heartbeats.
Heartbeats. But Five Heartbeats, because they couldn't get distribution, they couldn't um get a deal for it. Robert Keenan Ivory Wayans, and we'll talk about this next week, but Keenan Ivory Wayans was like, it's because that grind when you're trying to do it and you can't have nobody else sees the vision and you're trying to sell it, then this
Yeah,
falls through, then you try to sell it. So Keenan was like, Robert, I'm gonna have to go because I was developing a show and
hmm
they picked it up and they offered me the show, and that was In Living Color.
yep,
So he
yep,
had to leave that, and then Robert Townsend did it on his own. But it's how it's supposed to be. And then he ended up doing it. And Keenan said when he sat there and saw it, because they did a whole behind the scenes making of it,
hmm
and different, a biography on it. And he was like, when he saw it in the final, he was just like blown away, like all of us.
yeah,
That movie was so good.
yeah,
So Robert Townsend is next week. But I want to say
yeah,
with Ava DuVernay, we know I Will Follow was the first one. I couldn't find a budget for that, but the one Leroy's talking about, The Middle of Nowhere, that
hmm
was a $200,000 budget, which is small in Hollywood.
yeah. That's
But
a
it
real
made
small
it's
budget.
very small, but it made 236,000, almost 240,000. So it still showed that even though it was a small budget, she still made it. Now, I want to see from that, I want to see what kind of budget Selma had.
Yeah,
Selma
yeah.
had, okay, so we know the second movie had 200,000. Selma's budget was $20 million. 20 million. So she went from two. So think about it. If the second movie was 200,000, I Will Follow. That might have been 75,000. And because, like I said, it's not a lot going on in the movie. The story is very rich. It's not a lot going on. So, and then Selma was made off of $20 million. And you guys have to understand, when you have a budget for a movie, that's showing you how amazing that director is, how rich the story is, right? Because they're not going to give no regular smangular person $20 million to film. So that shows you that her storytelling and her negotiations and her value can garner $20 million. And that was in 2014. We know we're going to go up and up to see, but $20 million budget, it made $67.8 million at the box office. You think they got their return, Leroy?
Yeah, I think they like them numbers as the astronaut said in Hidden Figures. I like those numbers. You
I
know what I'm
like those
saying?
numbers. I like those
but
numbers.
but you please understand too, as a director, going from a 200K budget to a $20 million budget to $100 million budget, that's huge. And we talked about it last week with Ryan Coogler. You go from I don't know what Fruitvale was, from Fruitvale Station to Creed to I think the biggest budget he had was Black Panther.
Yeah.
For that one. And
Yeah.
for that one to gross over $1 billion.
Yeah.
To gross over $1 billion.
Yeah.
And I think the budget for that was it 200 million, I think, for that budget? I think it was.
Somewhere around
like
there.
It was somewhere around there. But that you have to, like you said, they ain't just giving that money to just be giving it out there, y'all. You got to know what you're doing.
So we jumped, right? That was 24. I said that was 2014, right? So we're just skipping around. So now let's jump to 2018. Let's see some more growth. A Wrinkle in Time, that starred Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, and so on and so on. Storm Reed played the lead. Ava DuVernay got between $100 and $130 million to make that one. So you go from less than 200, then you go to $200,000, then you go to $20 million, then you go to $100 million. That was 2018. Let's keep going, and then we're going to wrap up. So let's go to Origin was on TV, so that's not going to be the same.
Really? Was that? I thought that was in the movie because everybody seemed to be talking. And I thought that was a recent one.
No, it is. It just came out. So it's at the movies, and it's based off of a book. But then I also, but sometimes, now they're doing dual things. And I'm not sure if this is one of them where they'll show it at the movies and then they'll show it on the streaming. I don't see any budget for this one.
Okay.
Wait, let me see.
We know they had it. We know they had a budget. They just not publicized.
Right. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let me see. It was pulling up the book. Let me see. Okay. So interesting enough. So remember I told you Blair Underwood was in her first movie, very first one, and he is in this along with Niecy Nash Betts, Anjanou Ellis Taylor, Audra McDaniel. Love her. We don't see her enough. She's Broadway, but we don't see her enough. Remember, she was in A Raisin in the Sun. She was on television, but oddly enough, the budget went down.
Okay.
And that's interesting because that also says a lot too about her. If it's a worthy story that she wants to tell, it's not about the money.
Right. And that gives her
it's about the story.
And it gives her a range too where she can show her versatility.
Has anyone seen The Origin yet? I haven't. What'd you say, Leroy?
No, but I'm saying her having those different budgets shows the diversity that she has in being able to handle money. And like you were saying, she can pick and choose what projects that she wants to do. Because hey, I don't need a big budget because I know how to work with a small budget. I know how to work with a big budget. I can dance in between the two of them and everything like that. So
and also shows there's no ego. But it also shows there's no ego. Like, well, if I'm not going to get this, I'm not going to, give a great movie. Doesn't that seem that way as well?
Yeah, that's how that comes off to me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it does.
Where somebody
You
might be
know,
like, if it's not higher than my last one, then I ain't doing, you know what I
right?
mean? So the
Give me the
integrity
yeah,
of it, you
yeah,
know, it's almost like
yeah,
it's the integrity of it. Like, this is a story that's rich that needs to be told. You know, I'm gonna make sure some black actors work, and we're gonna do this, and it's getting rave reviews.
yeah. That's what I'm seeing. So I was just like, I'm gonna have to check out Origin because people said that again, it's a deep, rich story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they just they do the interviews with the
Mm-hmm.
cast and the trailers and stuff, and one guy, the one white guy, he was like, this was one of the
Mm-hmm.
best movie sets that I've ever been on.
Wow. And that
She and
says a
she
lot about the director, because that's the
Yeah,
boss.
they set the tone. They set the tone for
Mm-hmm.
the environment. Cause you got to
Mm-hmm.
remember, and not just I want to say go back to Selma, but Selma was such a heavy movie. You got to understand, you set that tone for the set and how people handle things. Cause was it? I think it was Jamie Foxx or whoever was working on. I think it might have been Kerry Washington too when they worked on Django and how heavy some of those, because remember when she got whipped and she had to get whipped, they were saying how heavy that day was. Even Queen Latifah talked about Set It Off when she had to when they were shooting up the car that day,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how she had to get in that mind frame, and how the director controls that environment. You're
Yeah.
responsible for that environment and making sure that that the actors are okay. And even I think even Monique talked about in Precious when she had to go to this dark place, but the director has to have a certain, that they create that certain environment for that to kind of take place for the actor, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, the directors are responsible for a lot when it comes to bringing these stories to life and getting the best out of the actors
That's
that
good,
you know
Leroy.
that they had. So yeah, the director is the conductor on set. You got to be
Yeah.
the maestro.
Yeah.
All of those great things, and Ava DuVernay does it just as good, if not better, than a whole lot of other ones.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
head lady in charge.
you're right. You know,
The head lady in charge.
the HLIC.
Right, there you go. That's right. Because I ain't calling her nothing else but a lady. She's a lady. I'm a lady. I'm a lady. What should Nene say? Because I'm
I
a
know, right?
lady. Because I'm a lady. We did Martin, y'all. Speaking of Shanae, we did Martin. You got to go back and look at past episodes. We did classic black TV. Martin was one of those that we did. All
Absolutely.
right, Leroy, anything else? I'm going to let you in the show. Anything else you want to say about Ava DuVernay
Nah,
and close us out?
these are
And
just,
thank you all for watching.
yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't, like we said, if you haven't seen some of these movies, because this is a way for us to mention movies that aren't necessarily on our list of movies to do, but they're great movies,
Yeah.
you know. But check out the list of Ava DuVernay's, filmography and Ryan Coogler's filmography, and check some of those movies out because they're great movies. They are There's some phenomenal movies, and
Yeah.
you have a day where you just
Yeah.
chilling and you want to catch up on some movies and whatnot, because most of these, like you were saying, Kendall, most of them I think you can find them on Netflix, you can find them on Hulu, or maybe one of the other streaming places and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Other than trying to catch them on HBO or Stars or one of the other movie channels, so to speak, or whatever. But you can catch these out because they're
Yeah.
phenomenal. They're great movies. They're great story. These directors are great storytellers,
Yeah.
and they really are. So
Yeah.
definitely check them out.
All right, what should they do for the show? Basine already told them, but let them you
Yeah.
tell them some more. Tell them some more what they need to
She
do.
done let them know you want to first. You want to subscribe. That's the first thing we want you to do. You got to subscribe. Then we want you to like the show because we hope we're doing something to give you, just a little laugh, some laughs, and some good knowledge too. Some good knowledge about good movies. And then comment. We want to know what y'all think about these directors. For season 6, if y'all think this is good so far. We know we only got 2 of them, but we're gonna have a list of great black directors that we think deserve to be acknowledged as well too, and they're great movies that they have. So I'm looking forward to doing the rest of these. So share, subscribe, like, share, hit that notification bell button too, so you can be notified of when
Yes, yes,
when we
yes.
come on.
And also, they might be on there now live, or whether you go back after the live has ended, you can also donate to the show. There's like a heart that says thank you. So you can click the heart and you can give like 99 cents, $1.29. If you don't see it live on YouTube, as soon as we end, you'll see it right there. So please do that. We appreciate that. Leroy and I are talking about doing live shows, having an audience, and all of that good stuff. We know Basine is going to be in the place. But yeah, so please, if you can, support the channel, support the show. It's going to be a red heart right there. I'm not sure if you see a heart. I'm sorry, not red. You'll see a heart, and if you click it, it says thanks or something like that. But definitely do that. We appreciate your support. This is our 6th season of More Than Just a Movie, and as you see, we have different branches. Leroy, you and I could do this show for the next 30 years.
I know, right?
We ain't gonna run out of stuff. There's always going to be a movie, because now, like 10 years ago, a movie might be considered classic, or 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It depends. And how Leroy and I define classic. Like, if you know the person, you can say the first or last name, the person, or if you can say a line from a movie or a television show. If it's in pop culture, if you know the people, the feeling, all of that, it's a classic. So it doesn't have to be a 50-year-old classic. It could be a 10-year-old classic to you, but you know it and you love it. All right, Leroy, I love you, man. Thank you so much, as always. Make sure y'all watch some movies, right? Because movies can take you places sometimes that you've never been, or let you experience things that you may never experience. So I'm excited about that. Just like a book can do it, so can a movie. And it could timestamp a place in your life where you can say, oh, Dag, I remember where I saw Malcolm X. I was in Las Vegas. I was in college. The movie was 4 hours. I remember where I sat at the movie theater. And I think about different movies like that. And I'm sure, Leroy, I know you do too. Be like, I remember when I saw that movie. I remember when I saw Disorderlies with the Fat Boys.
That was a good movie. That was a good movie. I'm sorry. That was a good movie.
I seen Disorderlies 3 times in New Jersey at a movie in Shore Mall, the movie theater. Everybody, shout out to South Jersey, Pleasantville area. You know what movie I'm talking about, movie theater. And, so many movies. But all right, y'all, be blessed. Remember, you're a star. Don't allow anybody to dim your shine. God bless y'all. Peace. All right, Leroy, love you, man.
Love you back, lady. Love you back.